Hey kids, can you believe it? It's the last week of this month, which means it's our last week looking at baptism. Do you remember the journey we've been on? Let's go really quick and recap it. Week 1, we learned about Saul to Paul and how when Saul repented of his old life and became Paul and followed Jesus, he went and got baptized. Second week, we learned all about Jesus' baptism and how Jesus modeled baptism for us. And then last week, we learned about how baptism means new life. And we also talked a bit about what baptism at WMB will look like if you wanted to be baptized. And this is the last week. Our big idea is that baptism is for all of Jesus' followers. Maybe you've already heard your teacher or myself say that in recent weeks. Who is baptism for? It's for everyone who has faith, believes, repents of their old life, and follows Jesus. So, remember what we talked about last week. If you're thinking about baptism, I would love for you to talk to your teacher, to your parent, and then to an adult in your life, and we would love to talk with you more about baptism. But this week, we're looking at one more story in the Bible where we have two people, two characters. Our first character is Philip, and our second character is identified as the Ethiopian. Now, Philip was one of Jesus' disciples, and he was preaching the good news, the gospel throughout all the land. And all of a sudden, an angel from God came and met Philip and told him that he needed to go south, and there he will meet a man. And he goes and he meets this man who is identified as the Ethiopian. Now, this man was reading from the book of Isaiah in his carriage. So can you imagine the horses and the carriage are kind of just trotting along, and he's just in his carriage reading the book of Isaiah. Have you ever read the book of Isaiah before? The book of Isaiah is in the Old Testament, and Isaiah was one of the prophets. In this book, Isaiah talks about the coming Messiah, who was Jesus. The Ethiopian, as he's reading, he's asking questions about who is this person that Isaiah is talking about. And Philip gets to tell him and talk to him and teach him all about Jesus. And the Ethiopian person believes in Jesus and wants to follow him. And guess what the very first thing they do? When he believes in Jesus and wants to follow him, they stop the carriage and they go, "Here is water." And Philip gets to baptize him right in the same day. Can you imagine what a whirlwind of the day this must have been for the man? Not only does he discover Jesus and believes in him, he's also able to get baptized. And he buries his old life and is raised to new life in Jesus, like we learned about last week. You see, sometimes Christians like to make baptism into such a big deal that they feel like they're never ready for it. I know many people that sometimes wait until their 40s, 50s, 60s to be baptized when they've been going to church their entire life and they've been following Jesus for their entire life. But you see, if we want to follow Jesus, one of Jesus' commands and following in his ways, as we learned about, is to be baptized. You see, baptism is for all of Jesus' followers. So who should get baptized? Jesus' followers. And you might ask, when should I get baptized? When am I ready? Well, if you believe Jesus and have faith in him and understand what following Jesus is all about and understand what baptism is about, then you're ready. You are ready to be baptized. So if you think you might be ready, and if you even just want to learn more about baptism, and maybe you don't think you fully understand it and you don't fully understand what following Jesus is all about, but you just want to learn more, tell a parent, tell a teacher, talk to myself. We would love to share more with you all about baptism. Now, this is the last video of our time here together, and we're going to watch a short video that shares again the story of Philip and the Ethiopian, and you'll be able to see Philip and how he gets to share with the Ethiopian all about Jesus. And remember, if you follow Jesus, if you love him, then let's talk about baptism. And I also want you to remember that Jesus loves you so much. And maybe you don't feel perfect. Maybe you feel like you've messed up. Maybe you feel like you're broken. Jesus loves you and he wants to make you whole. And we would love to be able to walk alongside you in that. So kids, thank you for coming on this journey with us. We have more to dive into yet on today's lesson, but thank you for watching along. We'll see you soon. Have a great week.